The Archimediae Genesis, Part 1 / Exposition, Update Log 1. So, today's video is basically going to be a continuation of the update logs of the last two videos. Check the link in the iCard in the top right corner and the description if you want to see them. Anyways, this update log isn't necessarily going to have a theme like the last ones. It will just generally gloss over a few more aspects of both the characters, plot, and the world building. I'll also try to cover the cultures and mannerisms of this futuristic world, as it is, after all, a world about a century away from ours. These people will have different vocabulary, manners, and even idioms. As a disclaimer, none of these are confirmed changes, but they'll almost certainly be added to the story. So, let's start with, of all things, profanity. To prevent my story from being too unreal but not too crude, I've had an idea to incorporate a fictional system of profanity. Words like idiot and stupid just aren't going to cut it for a gritty dystopia. Another bit of culture is that moment in Chapter 6 when the so-called Delta team, quote-unquote, fring everyone on a mission. This is a bit of the work towards building a system of profanity and slang. Fring essentially means to prank or trick someone. This is somewhat of a stand-in for the present world's yeet. The excuse for this vocabulary and profanity change would be an event known as the Profanity Ban of 2032, which banned all forms of present profanity, whether or not it be finger signs or just words. This prompted the general populace to invent new words for profanity. The government realized that it was pointless for another profanity ban, so they just let it be. With that out of the way, let's move on to the characters, specifically Caspian. Like Mira, Caspian also needs a passion. In Update Log 1, I mentioned that she had a passion for chess. I'm going to emphasize a passion for reading for Caspian. We can sort of see this in Chapter 15 when Caspian was reading an ebook on his storm pad. Speaking of the storm pad, I was also planning to discuss some of the technology involved in the story. By now, you've probably figured out that Storm is kind of like the future's Apple or Microsoft. For now, I'm not sure how to incorporate this into a story, besides a short note to make Cognizyme a subdivision of Storm, except as a simple feature of the world building. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to comment down below. Another piece of technology that might have been confusing to hear was the tether jet. The tether jet is actually based off of a hypothetical technology called a skyhook. The skyhook is basically a spinning rod orbiting Earth. Ships latch onto one end of the rod, and through the rod's rotational energy, the ship is flung to space or a far-reaching corner of Earth. In my story, this rod is basically called the tether, and ships that latch onto it are called tether jets, which in this scenario is used by kids around the world to take the SAST. Fun fact, the SAST is actually pretty new, having been created right after the USR rebellion sprang up. In case you forgot, the SAST is known as the Standard Aptitude and Skills Test. This test determines your job, and if you score low enough, you get terminated. As I plan to reveal, the SAST simply is a test of your loyalty to the Protochloriate, your intelligence, your creativity, and your strength. However, it's commonly known that the Protochloriate is most likely weighted the SAST towards putting you into the military. Last but not least, I'm thinking of adding another perspective in the story. Candidates for this would be most likely the leader of the Protochloriate, the leader of the Archimediae, or just some random Protochloriate or Archimediae worker whose story connects with Peter and Mira's stories in some way. This would be an interesting point of view because it had come from the sort of semi-antagonists of the story. Comment down below which one you'd enjoy, or if you want an extra perspective at all. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to enjoy more content from me, check out my website down below in the description and in the end screen of this video. Thanks for watching.